how do you make sure that they understand their responsibilities because they're governing both a nonprofit and a public school board?
We specifically went through a similar interview process that we would go through with our staff. We made sure that they spoke with families to have some conversations so that they could better understand, like, what do families actually want to happen, right? Because ultimately, our board is in direct support of our families. Their job is to make sure that everybody else, myself included, is doing what we're supposed to be doing for families, and that they are the ones who are holding the contract to the commission to actually say, these are the things that are going to happen. And we're going to ensure that those things happen based off of our team. And we're also going to make sure that we're answering to our community directly to make sure that those things are actually happening. And if they're not happening, then they need to make some changes within our organization, which typically is like the CEO or your superintendent or whatever. Like they're going to push and pull in those spaces to really make sure that we're, one, doing a legal compliance, and then two, making sure that we're answering to community. So we had them talk to families. We actually had them communicate and be interviewed by our scholars. So our scholars asked them questions to say, like, are you a good fit for our board? We had them come in and do tours within the school as well. So you need to understand, like, what you're actually getting yourself into. This is not, all, flowers and butterflies all the time. Like, this is a school, and so different things happen, and we need to be able to make sure that, like, are you going to be able to support in a crisis management situation? Are you going to be able to speak to what our curriculum is? Are you going to be able to speak to who we are as a community and speak to our culture? So those were different things that we were looking for. Is this the right match for you, right? A lot of folks say they want to be a part of an anti-racist organization, but when, the rubber hits the road, do you really want to be a part of this organization? And are you willing to answer for this organization and stand up for this organization and for our community? So we went through that process. We then had other board members also have conversations with them so that they can kind of get a better understanding. I think this kind of goes into that second part of how do you support the board with understanding their roles and responsibilities. We introduced them to other board members so they can begin to have conversations with the other board members to say, hey, this is where we've been, this is where we're at, this is where we're trying to go. These are some of our responsibilities that we have, et cetera. So I would say, just as far as like the recruitment process, we put them through interviews, and we put them through extensive interviews. It can be elders, it can be community members, it can be board members, it could be families, it can be our scholars, teachers, different administrators. Like, they all have conversations. It's kind of like a listening tour to some degree to kind of figure out, like, is this the right fit for you? And also, is this the right fit for us? Just because someone has the skills doesn't necessarily mean that they're the right fit. And so we have those conversations, and then we really lean into the space of having them talk to other board members to talk about what their responsibilities are. And then we kind of lay out our bylaws to, like, here, you need to read this ahead of time so that you understand, like, the legal ramifications, et cetera, and making sure that they understand what they're supposed to be doing and how they're holding that contract to commission and how they're answering to community.